Bennington Museum curator Jamie Franklin walks us through the new exhibit, Parks and Recreation.
And there were a number of Benningtonians who were involved in that early process. And so a lot of this case tells the story of locals who were involved as well as others. And I said earlier, not all of you were here when I first gave the introduction, you know, an exhibition is the work of many hands. And I want to acknowledge Alexa Curran, who was a fieldwork term study for me this last winter. And did a lot of the research and work on the Long Trail portion of this exhibition. And I encourage you, I mentioned the QR code accessing all of the Abenaki names that Dan was able to compile as he was working on his painting. Anybody with a smartphone, you can open up a QR reader, point it at a label with a QR code, click on it, and the entire album is digitized and accessible so that you can basically join them on their adventure from the Massachusetts border all the way up to the Canadian border. And what it would have been like hiking the Long Trail before it really even became the Long Trail in 1910. And then on the right is the story of Clyde Blackwell. Clyde Blackwell was a black man. He was the head porter at Equinox Hotel, which the irony is that the Equinox didn't accept black people. You know, there's a famous story that Louis Armstrong came to play at the Southern Vermont Art Center in 1957, and he was turned away from the Equinox Hotel. Well, Clyde Blackwell worked there as the head doorman and porter for close to 40 years in the first half of the 20th century. And he advertised in the Negro Motor Green Book. The Green Book, it's been in popular culture quite a bit of late. It was a book that was first published in the 1930s. And it basically was a guidebook for African American travelers because though state parks are intended to be accessible to all, of course in the mid-20th century when segregationism and racism was still so predominant, how do you get from New York City to Hapgood State Forest if you can't stay places? And so Clyde Blackwell, he actually accepted people into his own home and advertised, which was just down the street from the Equinox Hotel, ironically, where he worked, which wouldn't accept black people. And he advertised, and so you see a reproduction of the 1947 Green Book, which is advertisement for other listings here in the state of Vermont, in Burlington, Manchester, Rutland, and Northfield. And again, we've created a wonderful QR code which links to a silent film showing Blackwell with his daughter and other friends at Hapgood State Forest. It's a wonderful silent film that you can access online, and you can access it directly through that QR code.
To view this video in its entirety, tune to our channels or our YouTube page, Cat TV Bennington.